BodyBags, where horror lies.
Hey, it's me, Sam. I'm your Thursday guy for BodyBags, and this week it is Love Horror Week, and so the movie I am doing this week is Dracula Untold. So just off the bat, I might talk a little spoilers, but probably not that much though. So when this first came out, I don't think it did that well, and I think it has something to do with just maybe people didn't really like it. It came out in 2014. So, it was kind of dry then. Horror and stuff like that was dry then. So I guess just to talk about the story. So you have our main character, Vlad, who... Alright, so Vlad was, raised by the Turks, who is basically the Ottoman Empire, when the Ottoman Empire was expanding itself from the Middle East to Europe and stuff. And he was raised by them, and he ended up being known as Vlad the Impaler. He ended up going back to his home and becoming the prince of his home. Anyways, the story is that he's protecting his kingdom from the Turks because he, in a sense, pissed them off. And so the Turks are coming to kill him and his kingdom. And so he goes and tries to find a power that can save his kingdom. And he finds that power, and let's just say it's a high risk, high reward, I guess you could say. He finds the power. The power is vampirism. He's a vampire. He turns into a vampire. And he basically makes a deal with this vampire whatever, that Luke Evans' character, the main character Vlad, has 3 days. He can have all this power and stuff, but if he consumes any human blood during those 3 days, he'll stay a vampire forever. But if he doesn't, then he turns back to mortal. And so basically, it's him trying to protect his kingdom and destroy the Turks within 3 days. And I think I like this movie. I thought it was a pretty good movie. I think the biggest problem with it is just that, what's its runtime? It's an hour and 30 minutes. This movie probably would have been a lot better if it was 2 hours or something, because I think there were some ideas that they were going to go differently, but because of time and how much time they had to work on the movie, it just ended up, not working out so well. So I like this movie. I like the music. I love the music for this movie. I like the castings, whatever, because it's like, alright, so Luke Evans is the main character, and he's in smaller things that can be big for some people. Luke Evans is he's in some horror movies, other ones, but he's also in The Hobbit and a couple other things. I would say he would be the biggest actor that's in it. Well, there's also, what's his name? Charles Prince? No, it's Charles Dance. Charles Dance is in a few other things. He's this old guy right now. I don't even know if he's still alive, to be honest, because this was 7 years ago. He might be, but he's in some stuff. Anyways, long story short, this is a good movie. The biggest problem with this movie, if there is any, is just I don't think they had that much time to work on it. So, that's usually the problem with movies around nowadays. It either doesn't have that much time to be worked on, or they cut down 30 minutes of the movie. So this movie is an hour and 30 minutes. If this was a 5-hour movie, or not 5-hour, if this was a 2-hour movie, my bad. If this was a 2-hour movie, this would be a lot better. If it was 5 hours, and you got a whole story, and it probably would be epic. I said 5. I can't believe that. So I think one of the best things about this movie is the moral, or what's the meaning? What's this movie trying to tell you? And that would be that you got to be careful. Well, not just that, but if you're in a situation, or a bad situation, instead of relying on the world, you should rely on God, or something like that. That's a way I guess you could look at it. Because our character relies on the world, essentially. He relies on the darkness. He relies on a vampire, in a sense. Instead of just praying to God about it, kind of thing. This movie could have been like an old Bible story if he prayed about it instead. He's like, please, alright, instead of me going and asking that vampire, can you, help me out? And then, he wakes up the next morning, all the Turks are dead. He's like, oh, I worked. Anyways. So I like that moral because you don't really see that kind of moral out there. I guess that if another thing I like, or at least it was like, was that this was supposed to be like one of the first movies that Universal was going to put out to start their new dark horror universe, going back to using like Frankenstein, Dracula, Wolfman, blah, blah, blah. But since I don't think this movie did that well in box office, they just decided to either push it off or just, restart later on. Which now that I think they're doing a new one, when they started with the new Invisible Man, I think in like a year or two, they're going to have the Wolfman, so we'll see what happens. But, I always think it's interesting when I go and watch the ending of this movie, and then there's the plot twist in the ending. You're like, what? That's crazy. I want to see how they continue in this, and, there's no sequel. There's no sequel to this movie, so it's like, I wonder. But, going back, I thought the music was really good in this movie. The music again? What did it say? Ramin Djawadi? I don't know if I said that name right. But, the music in this movie is really good. You should just go on YouTube and just listen to the soundtrack of this movie. It's really good. Really underrated, I would say. That's, one of the best parts about this movie is just the music. Which is, I guess, one of the only things modern movies or modern horror movies can actually go and say is that, you go and watch Halloween or Halloween Kills, the movie itself might be but the music's, really good, because it usually is. Or you just go to modern movies in general, I don't know, you go, say to the remake Wolfman that came out, 2011-ish, or whatever that came out, the music of that movie is, really good. So, end of the day, this movie is a solid, okay movie. I think, though, in the end of the day, you either love it or you think it's okay. Because I don't really think there's that much to actually hate about it. So I would say I would rate this as, I would rate this like a 7.9. With the best thing carrying this movie is the music. The story is pretty good, but, the scripting and, the way things are timed in the movie is kind of I think originally, before they... Alright, so originally, instead of Luke Evans' character, Vlad, instead of Vlad having to wait 3 days, having the power for 3 days, he originally was supposed to have, 7 days or something like that, but I guess ideas like that didn't really work well, so this probably ended up being rescripted a few times. So, looking back, it's probably, one of those problems. But, visual effects for this movie is pretty good. Just small stuff like that's pretty good. The music's really good. I keep going back to the music. It's just really good. Go listen to it. It's on YouTube, I think. Anyways, 7.9 movie, I would say. It's a solid movie. Go and watch it. Not sure if you could go out and watch it somewhere, but if you can or you find a way, go and watch it. It's really good. That's it for me this week. I hope you enjoyed this review. And see y'all next week.